Hi, hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy Sister, and today felt like a good time to do some new annual life makeover, to stream life makeover. Alright, so that passed the sound test. Another side stories from the game. The new ones that I have unlocked.
Don't worry, I'll win this game.
Alright. Is there a place where you could easily trade a person's entire life for chips on the gambling table? Winners leave with fortunes while the losers lose everything and have to hand over their lives to someone else. I can hardly believe such a thing is happening everywhere in the world. And here I am right in the thick of this gamble. And the table sees several players each with different expressions and their faces pale against the lavish room decor. Is everyone ready? A robotic voice echoes around us and I catch a hint of feeling. At the head of the table, a massive machine moves its long arm swiftly and laying out multiple playing cards. Okay, this is a showdown moment. And I take a deep breath and turn over the 5 cards in front of me one by one. And the world I live in has turned into a gigantic casino, and in the frenzied gambling, people joining willingly or unwillingly, betting everything on uncertain luck. The force behind this frenzy is manipulating all of humanity. Please review your card. Cheating of any sort is prohibited. And after a round of betting, the mechanical voice flatly announces the results and I let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness my luck was decent this time. No, I can't die. Please help me. Ah. From the corner of the table, a man's desperate scream rings out as he reaches out to a young woman beside. But in the next instant, a mechanical arm grips him tightly. This is what happens to the loser. He faces death and then being turned into the one of these machines. The girl turns away, unable to face the mess on the table. Alright, gamblers, let's continue the game. And this time I decided I detect a note of satisfaction in the mechanical voice. Without time for sympathy, everyone, the girl included, has to face on another round, a life and death gamble. And I, at this untimely moment, remember my former companion, Gerald. A few days ago, in our secret base, he abruptly suggested stopping the experiment to investigate outside. I need to head out for a few days, and I'm leaving the rest of the work to you. Right now, and where you're going is dangerous out there, and we still have enough supplies to last a while. I promise I'll be back alive, don't worry, take care of yourself. Before I could ask for more, Gerald gave me a few quick instructions, put on his coat, and walked out decisively. Still no word from him, and I've been caught up in this gambling game for survival, forced to face it alone. Please review your cards. And I stared at the scattered cards in front of me and a shield running down my spine. Obviously, the luck isn't on my side this time, but I call. And in a game where luck rules, the only way to survive is taking a gamble, and I had no choice but to push forward. And the mechanical eyes swivel and finally focus on the ship, and I push in. There is obvious malice and greed in those cold eyes. The blows made many of the gamblers cut their losses and back out of the round. But it's not enough because the pressure is still on, and the mechanical eyes move like hunting serpents, pushing yet another pile of desperate ships towards me. I got nowhere to run and nothing left. Is there no way out today? And I tried to steady my trembling hands, gripping the same card that could decide my fate. Wait, this run isn't over yet. And one hand covers mine, and I look back in disbelief, meeting the eyes of a newcomer. Gerald's presence calmed me for a moment, but I quickly realized it is not time to relax yet. These are my ships, and can we begin now, dealer? Gerald smoothly places a huge pile of chips on the table, and the sheer amount causing a stir among the crowd. This amount, it feels like it's more than just his life, and what exactly did Gerald do? The large machine's eyes spun erratically as if he's quickly processing the sudden change in circumstances. Gerald sat calmly across from the dealer, looking nothing like someone about to engage in a life and death gamble. After a while, the machine finally responds, though there was a faint electrical interference in his voice. The gambler's actions are recognized and the game can continue. It seemed Gabriel had expected his bond moves to be accepted, and he kept a confident demeanor like a winner. Are you sure about this, Eve? I lowered my voice, glancing towards the exit to signal him. With Gabriel's appearance, the situation became chaotic, making it a perfect time for escape.
I'll win.
Don't worry, I'll win this game. I wanted to say more, but the machine flatly prompted announced the start of a new round. Please reveal your cards. Interesting, it is a central system's countermeasure, so weak. Hearing the whisper beside me, I looked at him surprised, but his expression stayed calm and composed. All in, I'm betting everything. And I stared at Gabriel in shock, but he was just playing with his chips and his gaze couldn't fix on the machine. Does he have a winning hand? Otherwise, this is way too risky. And his challenge seemed to enrage the dealer as the mechanic once twisted unnatural and showing his anger. And another round of betting, and the machine's voice bizarrely stuttered. Please reveal your card, please reveal your cards, please reveal your cards. Gabriel casually tossed 5 cards onto the table, even though the animation only shows 2, and the reveal hand made everyone gasp. Just a pair, and that's barely better than a high card, and how can he be so bold? However, when I looked at the silent machine, I was even more surprised to see a completely unrelented hand. A high card, it lost. I passed a bet, and I'll be taking her life chips now. No, gambler, we still have a game. You cannot leave now. Even the small warning, so different from the earlier stuttering, gave a raised and intriguing eyebrow. Happy to continue, but how much more are you raising this time, dealer? Surrounded by the machine's card, Gabriel was forced into another gambling match after another. In my heart, it was in my throat, leaving no room for relief. Gabriel narrowly won each game, almost if by sheer luck. Another close call, and this time he'll bet the machine by just 2 points. The improbable victories continued for dozens around until the machine had no more chips left. There's no need to gamble anymore, you can't win. Gabriel stood up undefeated, and his confident voice echoing throughout the dense casino. Because I have absolute luck. Oh yeah, like absolute luck, like the Heart of the Cards, Yu-Gi-Oh style, you know. Where he uses magic to like change it to like always get like the card that's gonna give him the victory. Yeah. After those miraculous wins, Gabriel and I quickly left the casino, and we won our way to the Maze of Valleys, leaving prying eyes behind and finally reaching our secret base. Upon disabling the security system, Gabriel let out a long breath as if a huge weight had been lifted. I see your sense of direction hasn't dulled.
Of course. I couldn't possibly get lost on my way back to you.
Gabriel replied earnestly, making my flustering scene a bit awkward. Now can you tell me where were you been these past few days, and about what's all that gambling about? I asked him, eager to get some answers to my pent-up question. I'll tell you everything, but first let me your shoulder for a bit. Finally giving an exhaustion, gave a slumber beside me, and his deep breath echoing in silence. And how long has it been since you last rested? Since I left here, and I haven't had any time to rest. And his voice was hurt, filled with fatigue, which pulled at my heartstrings. It's rare to see you this tired, and yet at the card table you still managed to. The moment those words slipped out of my mouth, I realized he was in fact barely holding on at the table. Your life was at stake, I couldn't take it lightly. Gabriel, thank you for saving me, and I wasn't sure if he heard my whispers then, and I just felt breathing gradually began steady next to me. Then I returned to my workbench, but couldn't help but distracted by the data on the screen. Gabriel and I became malice after the invasion, secretly working on a project here. Invasion of what? Like the body snatchers, aliens, killer robots from outer space? Our goal is to find a way to defeat the dealer, an advanced alien entity that invaded our world. Oh wait, there it is. It represents greed and tyranny, seizing all of our resources and forcing humans to gamble with it. The dealer has turned our world into a central system with strange gambling machines serving as its substructures. The substructure has stages of the dealer constantly gambling to assimilate more humans. What's the real truth behind the dealer? The dealer isn't just a central system, it's also a master hand behind all of the games. At some point, Gabriel woke up and calmly responded to my musings as he watched me. Is this what you found out on our trip? Wait, are you saying none of the games we played were fair? I clearly understood what Gabriel meant, and a cold sweat broke out. Wait, why didn't we see this possibility before? The games are controlled by those machines. But then I realized a flaw in that logic. Because the dealer put so much effort into gambling games, we assumed they were fair. Give another slide, but this is only raised more questions for me. Why, if they can just take our resources, why bother with this charade? I haven't cried that yet, but I found a way to fight back. And I nearly sprang out looking at Gabriel with a sum in anticipation as he slowly stood. He rolled up his sleeves to show me a strange pattern in his forehead similar to the dealer's marking. I realized he must have taken something from the dealer. Absolute luck. I can't lose in his games. Once we're unbeatable, it is our turn to strike back. A spark ignited excitement between us, excitement burning in our eyes as we look at each other. Before long, Gabriel and I went back to our usual research routine at the base, and he briefed me on his recent trip and he went out to connect with the central system via substructure. And while you mentioned that before, but is it really possible and you made it back safely? When I changed, watching surprise, he smoothly changed into the last gear and walked over the workbench. He confirmed my doubts and questions and started to explain what happened in that day. The lab had picked up an unusual signal which he traced back to the nearby structure, and I realized it was an opportunity, so we headed out that way. And as he explained, Gabriel carefully activated the lab equipment and quickly inputting the new data. The cloud seemed to bother him, but he kept on working, only biting them at the edge of one. The leather gloves were striking under the bright, and his rare glasses gleamed with a cold mechanical sheen. I stared at him for a moment, noticing his gaze. Gabriel looked at me, and his eyes glinting slightly. Wow. And I snapped back to reality and quickly rejoined the conversation. The substructure and the dealer central system are closely linked, making it tough to intercept data. Though it took some time, I managed to connect the central system and access the dealer's main brain. Even though Gabriel spoke casually, I knew it wasn't easy. The dealer system is much more advanced than ours, and Gabriel had faced multiple failures in past attempts. He said hacking into the main brain was harder than expected, and he needed a disruption, more counterfire. I managed to get some chips and the advantage of the absolute luck. As long as it's a game run by a dealer, and the odds would always be in Gabriel's favor. Even though it sounds bizarre, I saw his power during the unbelievable gambling match. So what's your plan now? Is there anything I can do to help? Gabriel thought for a moment before slowly revealing his next plan. I keep trying to hack into the central system and find a way to defeat it. Wait a minute, Gabriel, do you mean you're going to keep gambling with a substructure? I stared at Gabriel in disbelief, and he confirmed my suspicion with a calm, unwavering expression. Our only chance to beat them is to play their game. But I can't agree to that, and even if you had luck, you can't risk it like this. We should have other options, like these aren't other options left soon, and the dealer will make a move soon. Gabriel gently took my clenched fist in his hands and softened his voice to comfort me. Don't worry, it's not time for us to say goodbye yet, but by the way, I have a gift for you. I didn't comment on the sudden change of subject and waited quietly for the gift he mentioned. With the sound of electronic booping up, a familiar pink spherical floated over. Ah, you restarted it. After the dealer's invention, many non-essential machinery in the base was shut down due to energy shortages. Oh, Master, I'm so happy. See, nice excited lifted up some of the gloom in my heart, but I couldn't help but smile. There's more. I activated the user's backup projection. As this command, a hologram appeared, and it was an exact replica of Gabriel. Noticing my confusion, Gabriel explained. If something happens to me, I have my data, and you should quickly create another version of me. Don't joke about that, it's not funny at all. And do you really think a robot or a projection could replace you? I held back my trembling in my body tense and my tone cold serious. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And he pulled me into his hands and I leaned against his chest, listening to his heartbeat mixed with his sigh. I also added some new features, wanna try them out. Without waiting for my response, Gabriel gently guided me to a nearby sofa and helped me lie down. I followed his command, and as I enveloped in a strange yet soothing scent, I found myself closing my eyes. You're like the sleep aid system, and get some good rest. His voice was soft but carrying an unmistakable sadness, blurring the lines between dream and reality. A loud noise jolted me awake, and the moment I opened my eyes, the surroundings made me instantly alert. Gilbert, are you here? What happened? The base was empty, with the lights flickering erratically and the chaos voices echoing outside. What's the current time? Upon hearing the static voice announce that, I rushed over to the base. The dealer must have started its operation, and our investigation revealed that the dealer's actions follow a specific cycle. I suspect the dealer acts based on the level of assimilation it achieves. The last time the dealer was active, at least a quarter of humanity was affected, leaving numerous casualties. And although the substructure's gambling continued recently, the dealer hasn't made any major moves. And once the dealer gains enough assimilation from gambling, it starts its operation. The data range we predicted for this included today. A dark clouds gather in over the horizon, and strange machines reveal this form in the dealer. And the streets are filled with screams of people, and I push through the crowd, making my way towards the dealer. Welcome to the gambling game, and you inferior beings. With his cheerful words, the gigantic machines roar, and countless substructures emerge to the panic crowd. So it's like a type of Skynet thing with a serious gambling addiction, but he doesn't want to lose. And hearing the scream, I decided to run in the open and completely exposing myself, and the next moment a substructure metal arm seized me tightly and hoisted me into the air. I heard, but this is the only way to find out what's really going on. And countless questions soared in my mind, but I knew that the one I was looking for was at the center of this chaos. Thank you all for participating, gamblers, and the wheel of life and death starts now. With a roar from the sky, the dealer announced the beginning of the first round of the game. The strange machine made grating metal sounds under my feet and turned into an enormous, seemingly endless roulette wheel. I, among other countless others, have been captured and were dropped from a low height into this wheel. And at the center of the wheel, a projection of a loaded revolver spun, and beneath me the wheel started to turn. Put all your luck on the line and make your choice. Countdown begins. And the cascada and terror, but in the chaos I spotted familiar figures. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Kira, rarely losing his cool, almost yelled at me, and his voice fragmented by the wind. I came for you, and you should have told me the truth. And what did you discover in the dealer system? Don't you think about sacrificing, so you promise you'll come back safe and sound? The standoff felt endless as I stared into Gabriel's trembling eyes, trying to understand what he was hiding. 10 seconds left to struggle. 10, 9, 8, 7. This way, follow me. And his life and death came, and determined solely by luck, and we ran without any tricks or strategy. Almost the instant the countdown and the barrage of gunfire erupted just ahead of us. And those hit instantly transformed into mechanical structures, and their energy feeding into the giant roulette. Stay here, I promise it'll be over soon. Wait, Geralt. And I tried to grab him, but the crowd quickly swerved away, and he disappeared into the front side. And as I frantically pushed the direction Geralt had gone, the countdown ominously resumed. 10, 9, 8, 7. No, it can't end like this, and a gunshot cut off the final seconds. And I suddenly felt weighted as if I was floating, and the second gunshot came as I fell into complete darkness. Geralt had pulled the trigger without hesitation, and the first bullet struck the dealer's central core. And he watched as the loathsome alien began to fall apart from countless gamblers tumbling from the wheels. Artsy Sister, she has to be safe. And the structures let out a screech as her puppet shell cracked open, revealing the human inside. Just as he promised, it will be over soon. As the dealer collapsed, a strange force seized every muscle in his body and demanding destruction. So like the so-called evil alien was just a gambling addict with a ridiculous amount of technology. Artsy Sister had indeed noticed the unexpected event he tried to conceal, and during his forcing with the central system, Geralt's intrusion was detected by the dealer, but he underestimated the trouble this exposure would bring. What's happening? And he was hit by the force and beyond the current tonight, nearly bringing him to his knee in pain. To his horror, the stolen power quickly fused with him, becoming inseparable. Geralt, although unchanged in appearance, might have become part of the dealer. But there was a benefit, like the absolute luck that came with it. and afterward Geralt ran countless tests on himself only to reach a despairing conclusion. I can't fight it, I have to destroy it. Clever Geralt had foreseen that once the dealer was destroyed, he might disappear as part of it, or worse, transformed into another dealer. If it comes to that, what would be all the efforts have been for? Geralt decided to return to Artsy Sister for a final goodbye, and with the next dealer's activity approaching, he planned to take that chance to end everything. And he showed up at the casino using the dealer's system to save Artsy Sister, who had been on his mind. He wanted to see her one last time, give her a parting gift, and then find an excuse to leave. Well, I can agree to that. Even if you had the luck, you can't reach it like this. Sadly, the fourth would be Geralt's last mistake, and it was as Artsy Sister fell asleep on the sleep aid system and gently brushing her hair aside. Get a good night's sleep, and maybe when you wake up, the world you love will be back to normal, he silently hoped. Then he rushed out to the final battle alone. Wait, Geralt. A hand reached desperately for him, trembling with the realization that this might be their last goodbye. But he had to keep moving forward until he got to the center of the roulette and took the gun of fate. And the second the bullet he fired would be the Geralt they met on the verge of becoming a dealer. And without hesitation, Geralt pulled the trigger a second time. So it ended, so that little side story ended like, it ended badly, but whatever, moving along. Let's do this one now.
Time always flies when I'm waiting for Miss Detective.
It's a late-by weekend and I headed along for our agreement meetings part of the amusement park. Wow, like the main character has taken all of her romantic interest to the amusement park. The sunset splashes across the path as I walk with a light step, feeling a subtle sense of anticipation. I wonder what kind of story Larry will bring up this time. A few days ago, Larry invited me to this amusement park adventure. So this is another reading for your book, or just another way to put off writing? Could be both. I'm Larry's cheerful green category. I couldn't help but ask, why would you think that, and do I think that I'm reliable to you? Maybe you should ask Wade that question. And I mused silently while Larry continued to pretend to be wrong. It seems like I won't have the honor of Mrs. Detective's company after all. Not this again. Despite my internal complaints, I agreed to join him and curious about how he was going to get the materials for the book. Following the crowd across the street, I saw Larry at the entrance of the park. Artsy Sister right on time. As I arrived, Larry noticed me and flashed his trademark radiant smile. Been waiting long?
Time always flies when I'm waiting for Miss Detective.
I approached him, noticing a notebook filled with scribbles on his hand, and curious I picked up and asked, "Are those the notes for your new book?"
Bingo!
His tone was mysteriously playful, and I vaguely felt off about this. As expected, he rang on the manuscript, speaking with a playful tone. "Would you like to guess the theme of my new book?" And as I was used to his teasing by now and knew exactly how to handle it, "You were here to gather material for this book." Cut to the chase, I asked him directly, and Larry dropped his joking demeanor and began to explain to this agenda. "So you want to immerse yourself as a character from your novel to analyze his psyche, and welcome to an amusement park. It is also part of the story. That's a secret for now. You play along, won't you, Artsy Sister?" "Of course, what do you need me to do?" "Play the leading lady, just as you always do." I ignored his flirty remark and his playful wink and pressing on seriously. "What role are you playing then?" Larry kept smiling, his gaze intense. "Well, it's the love of your life, of course." My heart skipped a beat before I realized he was referring to the characters in his novel. "Cuz, what kind of an answer is that?" I already changed the subject while Larry barely suppressed a triumphant smile, feigning ignorance. "And around the hero and the heroine are they been dating?" I meant the other details like his job or background. Larry gave a secret smile and began to outline the plot of his new book. The male lead has always hidden his identity, even from the heroine. That fits Larry's love for mystery. Seeing me puzzle over the character secret, Larry cheerfully suggested, "How about a bet, Artsy Sister? If you can guess the hero's identity before sunset, I should grant you a wish." Confidently, I agreed immediately, and Larry's smile widened. "You truly are a detective, miss, but if you lose, then I'm happy to concede your wish too. Let's go." Eager to start, I pulled Larry into the amusement park. Inside the dazzling variety of attraction and standing amid the bustling crowd, I looked around. Though I agreed to the bet, how can I gather more information? And what are you thinking about? Let's pick a ride you'd like to do first. Larry retrieved the park guide from the staff member, and ever the gentleman opened it up for me. Gazing at the Disney narrative rides, an idea suddenly struck me. "Can you tell me about the heroine's personality? I like to choose based on that." Larry's eyes lit up at my professionalism and revealed that the heroine's character be brave. Just like you are, sister, always fearless in your quest for truth and in protecting your friends. Although Larry's words were sweet as usual, his serious demeanor gave me a shiver. Since you made me sound so good, I guess I had no choice but to go for it. I pointed to the speeding roller coaster and looked back at Larry, trying to read any sign of deceit. However, he just flashed an inscrutable smile and followed me to the roller coaster entrance. After a short wait, it was our turn to board the stationary two-seater car. And just as I was fumbling with a seatbelt, a warm sensation suddenly brushed the back of my hand. I turned my head to see Larry holding my hand, and his expression innocent. Now it seems the shy hero needs a little saving from his brave protector, doesn't he? Before I could discern the truth of his word, the roller coaster started moving slowly, and the wind howled as the train accelerated, and a feeling of weightlessness mixed with the fear surged, and I grit my teeth. Larry tightened his grip on my hand, a silent reassurance. After sipping at the roller coaster, I still felt a bit dizzy. My stomach is churning, implying the heroine has its challenges. Larry considerately offered me a bottle of water and quietly asked if I needed a break. "No, it'll be fine after a moment, and it's your turn to pick the next ride." On the other hand, I didn't want to slow us down. On the other hand, it was just to uncover the male lead's identity. "Let's check out the climbing gym over there." Not far, an indoor climbing gym stood, and its door with a buzzer revealing a bustling scene inside. As we entered, we found some long lines, and a sheer number of activities made the lines chaotic. Larry carefully shielded me from the bustling crowd, leading me to find the end of the line. "Hey, make way, please queue it orderly, no pushing." As the crowd got restless from the congestion, the voice of security staff boomed from the outside. As the line started to move, the security guard with a megaphone quickly made his way to us. "Hey there, are you two going to be standing around, and what ride are you headed for?" "We're heading over there to the climbing area." And contrary to his usual demeanor, Larry stayed silent, even leaning on my shoulder, appearing somewhat faint. The cheerful guard didn't seem to mind and led us to the climbing area. So it just felt a bit dizzy. It must be the heat getting to me. Once the guard had moved away, Larry lifted his head up and explained apologetically. "He's true, but it is quite cool inside here, and it wasn't even hot outside." Well, maybe it's the sweater with like the weird jacket. I observed Larry's complexion but couldn't find a convincing answer. Such unusual behavior, could it be because he's embodying that mysterious male lead? And as I pondered the line most significantly, and soon it turned out to be a turn, and I looked up at the towering clock wall, and the nausea I had just come surged back and widened in my face. Artsy Sister, need to rest a bit more. And I gritted my teeth and shook my head, saying, true to the brave heroine, leaving Larry no choice. And it almost, I turned, and when it had the statement was about to lead me to the equipment, Larry stopped me. And before I could protest, Larry explained my condition to the staff and then turned to me, whispering gently, "Even the brave heroine in the story deserves a break now and then. Why don't you rest here for a while and watch the hero in action, okay?" Talking about looking heroic, and to think he was just playing a vulnerable on the roller coaster. And I suddenly scoffed, yet his thoughtful consideration touched me, and I nodded. Larry quickly get up, securing his harness swiftly, and climbed up high. So they're climbing the rope thingy. Well, with a smile, Larry reached out his hand and for his elevated position, seeming to invite me to join him. Oh, Mr. Leading Man, is this an invitation
If
to
my
join you?
leading lady is willing, I would be more than delighted.
Unfortunately, someone insisted I stay here to admire someone's heroic stance. I emphasized the words mockingly, trying to tease the frame altar, but he handled it with ease. So I said, how do you like the view? Satisfied? My eyes swiftly swept over his strong arms and spoke mostly, leaving me stuttering in response. Well, it's so, I guess. I think better. Darn it, he got me again. My detective, look over here. Hanging from his sister, Larry slightly turned to greet me with an uneasy natural pose. You look quite skilled, and it's a standard trait for male leads or just a trait to get out of writing. I couldn't help but tease Larry, and he responded with a playful smile in his eyes. What do you think? It might just bring you a step closer to the truth. And after a bit of banter, I encouraged Larry to continue climbing, to which he readily ascended. The climb engine was above with voices, and there were a few quite seasoned climbers on the wall. And Amanda and Larry didn't stare out much, and he moved with a confidence he suggested complete control. He must be really good at this, right? Maybe. And I shouted words of encouragement towards the figure agilely climbing, and Larry gave thumbs up. However, just as he was about to reach the top of the wall, his movements halted abruptly. What's happening? And as I heard closer to get a better look, I heard an unnatural noise from Larry's safety rope, and suddenly the rope slacked and his body began to plummet uncontrollably. Larry! And in the instant of his mishap, my heart skipped a beat and I rushed forward screaming his name. And just a meter from the ground, Larry managed to regain control of the safety rope, landing smoothly. Staff and onlookers quickly gathered around to ensure he was unarmed before dispersing. Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? As Larry shook off his climbing gear and walked towards me, I couldn't help but ask anxiously. I'm fine. Let's get out of here. Larry gave me a reassuring smile and spoke softly. The fright of nearly witnessing an accident took over my thoughts, and I let Larry lead me out of the gym. Back in the park, seeing me still visibly shaking, Larry sighed softly. Artsy Sister, don't worry, I'm fine, aren't I? But I was so close, and what happened just now? Was there a problem with the safety rope? No, I unhooked it myself, but I was confident I could control it. Oh, God. Talk about a drama queen. Why would you do that? Do you know really how dangerous that was? Well, guys have been known to, needlessly injure themselves in order to impress abroad. I was both angry and anxious, pressuring him to clear explanation without holding back. I said I wanted to experience what the male lead would feel like in the brink of death. I didn't mean it. Seeing my intense reaction, Larry immediately apologized sincerely, and his eyes filled with remorse. You better truly reflect this. Treating your life like a game is absolutely not okay. I glared at him angrily, then composed myself to inquire about his experience. I felt a mix of relief and regret. I said, this guy's all the red flags. The regret is because you were about to leave this world, so relief is because... Larry didn't answer, and his expression became somber as if lost in profound and distant memory. Despite his expression of being unexpected, it revealed a glimpse into the mysterious nature of his male lead, or maybe she was nuts. That makes sense now, maybe. The cortex of the novel's male protagonist gradually came clearer in my mind. The fading sunlight covered us, light once gently illuminating Larry and me. A sunset was nearby, and with it the line overhead. Larry, I know the truth now. Meeting Larry's encouraging gaze, I voiced my bold hypothesis. The true identity is a fugitive, so he must keep his identity a secret even from his closest loved ones. Your reaction to security personnel in similarly hiding was because you fear being recognized. And for someone burdened with such deep sins, death might seem like a relief. After laying out my deductions, I watched Larry's face, trying to ascertain if I was correct. Absolutely right, and you're incredibly perceptive. I can't help but admire it. And there was no thrill of winning the bet, only a melancholy feeling for the fate of the male lead. To be so close day after day, yet unable to reveal his true self, The male protagonist is indeed pitiable. Even if the female protagonist senses something such, she can only face her lover's deceptions. I couldn't help but empathize with the plight Larry described and feeling more moved by the tragic love story. Larry offered a gentle smile softly touched my bowed head as he continued the story. Though his narrative, I realized that he burdened with heavy sins, and I realized that the police were on him. Knowing that he could not escape his fate, he was doomed to say goodbye to his peaceful life. Thus he chose to spend his final day bringing his unsuspecting lover to the amusement park, just to create some beautiful memories for himself, to have their farewell here amidst happy memories. I couldn't help but ask and picture a couple ending a joyful day fading into the sunset as they part ways. Larry was silent, giving me a deep look, and it was as if he was the man tormented by fate and wanting to wedge his moments with our lover into a final memory. And I thought I saw closer to and could only watch helplessly as my silent partner drifted away. It's getting colder as the night falls. Let's head back early. Hearing Larry's soft whisper, I snapped back to reality, and the sun had set and the gentle evening breeze caressed my cheeks, bringing a chill. And it felt as if awakening from a long dream, leaving void inside of me. Let's just go. And I quickly my steps and walked back inside Larry, feeling the warmth from our touching palms. Larry and I walked side by side to the night streets, reflecting on an adventurous day. Speaking of which, I won the bet, didn't I? That's right, according to our deal, I owe you one wish. And what would you like, Artsy Sister? Anything at all. Anything. Hearing Larry almost tempting whisper upon the breezy, but chose to use a wish where it was most needed. I hope you start treating your safety as a joke. Incidents like that to them must never happen again, and can you promise me that? Seemingly not expecting me to make such a serious wish, Larry's eyes flickered, slightly taken aback. And be like, you thought you were gonna get lucky, you lunatic? Not a chance. Is that your wish? How dull. I nodded, and he could curb his recklessness, and then it was a wish well spent. What about you? What did you take away from today's research? Thanks to your help, I know what I need to change. Under my probing, Larry revealed that in his original plot, he only felt relief before his death. But after today's experiment, Larry realized that the protagonist must have also felt regret at that moment. Did he regret his reckless choice to die? No, it was because he couldn't bear the thought of his loved one worrying and being sad for him. And somewhat surprised, I looked at Larry to find his gaze tender and faced directly on me. So at the moment you released the rope, did you feel regret too? Larry lowered his eye and shook his head gently, in his tone more serious than ever before. No, but when you ran towards me, I did regret it. And I paused, staring deeply into Larry's eyes, trying to tell whether he was acting or speaking from the heart. I promise you I won't put myself in danger carelessly again. Because now I too have someone I can't bear to see upset. And a lady named Brister unsettled in my emotions, and in this moment perhaps I could believe it a bit in the sincerity of his words.
Shoot them down. Let's finish this quickly.
Here's the other one. Hey, hold on, I just mopped the floor, it's still wet. Mario, the Mario brothers slipped. After dinner, as I finished tidying up the kitchen, a little gobbler crept in. At first I didn't want to say anything, but I had to warn him about the slippery floor. Young Mario, our greedy eater, was startled and fell right back in his backside. Now, was that kind of a fool thief who sleeping on his spoils? The nun rushed to the kitchen only to find Mario crying on the floor and her worries turning to chuckles. After setting Mario down, her smile quickly faded into a sigh. She was concerned, and most children in the orphanage were still growing. And with meager meals, hunger was inevitable. Mom, sis, cheer up. Mario read our minds and waved his fist. Someday I'll defeat those darn androids and get us humans to the upper district. The Terminator's back again. Hahaha, hilarious. The upper district, I guess, out the window. Under the dazzling moonlight, the city dazzled with all kinds of neon lights. And since the end of the Android War years back, this land has been divided into two by the brilliant neon lights. The center bathing light was the upper district, inhabited by the victors, the superior androids. And at the edge, escaping even the brightest light, lay the realm of humans, the lower district. This was Andropolis, where humans would live on the edge as long as the androids ruled the city. The awakening war started by the androids had changed the lives of millions, including mine. After the war, I lost all memory and was rescued by the nun who brought me to the orphanage. Blanco meaning amnesia. And since then, I made the orphanage my home, helping the nun care for the children. Despite the extra condition, we managed to get by as one big happy family. But supplies are running out, and we'll need to find more food as possible. Artsy Sister stopped frowning. Go rest for now, and we'll head to the market early tomorrow. The nun's gentle voice brought me back from my worries. Hopefully, I'll find some fresh food and ingredients tomorrow morning and get an extra meal for everyone. Early the next morning, just as dawn was breaking, I got up in a big hurry. Got to hurry to the market and got ingredients from Wait. As I rushed, I saw something bump into the door, and after a big push, I finally opened the door and found a man lying at the doorstep, and his eyes were shut and his head bandaged, and he was probably hit by androids and barely made it here. Looks like I have to go to the market later. Sorry kids, but his life is at stake. I woke up a few strong boys to help me carry the unconscious man into the room, and just as I was about to clean his wound, the man opened his eyes. Where am I? You're awake. I'm Artsy Sister, and this is an orphanage on the east side. You fainted at the door this morning, so we brought you in. Thanks, Angaro. Don't mention it. Time is tough for everyone, and we help each other as best we can. Yeah, the war has changed everything. Gabriel said that he fought in the Android War, and with defeat he ended up on the list of the androids. He has led a fugitive life ever since. Having escaped death countless times, the man sounded both weary and relieved, which brought me a strange sense of familiarity. Gabriel stayed at the orphanage to rest and recover, but he worked hard. The orphanage only had women, and a strong man like Gabriel saved us a lot of effort. And he could fight, which fit the image I had of somebody who fought in the war, and with him around, the children had less harassment from the androids nearby. But food was a big problem, and Gabriel donated all his money to the orphanage, yet with so many mouths to feed, we still struggled to make ends meet. And one day, seeing Gabriel single-handedly fend off several androids harassing us, a bold plan formed in my mind. What, do you want to steal the mechanical cores of the androids? Yeah, I heard that the well-crafted cores fetch a good price in the black market. That's too risky if caught by the authorities. I know, but given our current financial situation, the orphanage won't last much longer. Gabriel, we need your combat skill. Of course, if you're not willing to get involved, I'll figure something out on my own. I planned to put his mind at ease and never intended to force him into the plan, but Gabriel seemed to have misunderstood and thought that I was sending him myself alone to a certain death. Don't be foolish, I'll be right next to you no matter what. We led an ambush at the border of the upper and lower district to androids who harassed the residents. This tragedy quickly earned us our first pot of gold. I lied to the nun that Gabriel and I worked in the upper district and they shouldn't clamor for a feast, but the nun wasn't about to be fooled that easily. Artsy Sister began with me, where do you get the money? Gabriel is a wanted man. How could he find work in the upper district? Mom. You're all good kids and the orphanage appreciates your effort, but I don't want you to go down the wrong path. The nun's caring words nearly made me burst into tears, but I couldn't just watch the orphanage go bankrupt like that. Mom, in this tough time, it takes everything just to survive, and I'll try anything, even if it's a dead end ahead. For the smiles of the children, I'll pay any price. I knew from the beginning that we were bound to get caught for stealing the mechanical cores, So I enlisted Gabriel, who was already a fugitive, and chose a location far from the orphanage. And this way the orphanage wouldn't be implicated, and I couldn't care less about my own fate. If we both end up on the list, don't blame me for dragging you down. A burden would not have your skill. Hard to say. After all, you're good at combat, and when we make the run, don't leave me behind. As I said, I'll be right next to you, man, no matter what. Liar, such a liar. Gabriel's touching prophets still echoing in my ears, but now I was the only one held captive in the gallows. I don't know why, but instead of fearing for my life, I felt more anger and grief towards Gabriel. The familiar feeling from our own first meeting crept back. Still, I couldn't remember a thing from my past. Was my amnesia related to him somehow? Black convenient amnesia. It's actually very common in like sci-fi stories. Mostly I'm just thinking of capture scenes. Moving along. He said his fought in the war because he had lied to me. Indeed, he caused my amnesia. The executioner rang the bell, which sent a shiver down my spine and pulled me back to the cold reality. I'm about to die. Death had never felt so real. But then a swoosh sound passed my cheek, and a towering figure landed in front of me. Electronic bullets shot down from the machine gun in his hand and taking down most of the androids in a second. Geralt. He pulled out a compact electronic gun from his waist and tossed it to me.
Down. Let's finish this quickly.
I understood him immediately and took down some of the enemies in key position while being covered by his firepower. And now, let's go, disengage now. After clearing the enemies, Geralt grabbed my arm and pulled me into his embrace. Hold on tight. The next moment, the rope tightened and he carried me into the sky. And the urgency of the body, my body reacted before my brain could catch up. And when I came to my senses, my arms were tightly wrapped around his shoulders. And my heart was still pounding when we boarded the helicopter. And I couldn't tell whether it was from the lingering fear or the hug at the critical moment. Geralt wasn't relaxed as me, and he cautious his scanned surroundings for any signs of the enemy. Some flying mechs attempted to approach us, but he shot them down before they could get any close. And looking at him, you wouldn't see we were in a life and death situation. Only the helicopters shaking from being hit highlight the urgency of the situation. I didn't expect him to be this good. And where did he get the helicopter and so many weapons? And the must have cost a fortune. Or maybe he generated them using like the Matrix technology, you grab a gun and then you control, and then you do copy paste it over and over, whatever. Sci-fi mumbo jumbo. This was the first time we met that I realized that I didn't know Geralt alone, but at least he kept his promise. Even as fugitives, he stayed by my side. By the time I finally shook off her pursuit, the helicopter was barely holding together, especially the tail, which was riddled with bullet holes from the enemies behind us. It had to find a nearby ruin and decided to make an emergency landing for a rest. Where do you get this helicopter? It was part of my collection. And about the ammunition, and I was about to ask him where he hoarded the weapon, but Geralt stumbled as he clutched his abdomen. What round did you get shot? I had gotten into the warehouse where he slowly sat against the wall, which was a bit of a relief. I'm fine, just got grazed by a few stray bullets. Fine, you could die. I saw a first aid kit in the helicopter. I'll go get it. Wait. I rushed to the helicopter and didn't notice Geralt's hesitation, and after fetching the first aid kit, I hurriedly checked what was inside, hoping to find something useful. But what I found left me dumbfounded. Bags of blue body fluid for androids, lubricants, and even bearings and parts for replacement. With a huge suspicion, I returned to the warehouse with the first aid kit. And as I pushed the floor open, the intense light made Geralt shield his eyes with his hand. And then I saw blue blood oozing from his wounds. He's an android. The person who has been by my side saved me from the androids was one of them. He said he fought in the android war for human dignity, but was that a lie? Did he disguise himself as a human to get close to me, and did he steal the mechanical cords for some purpose? Two voices fought in my head, and one warned me that he was the enemy, and all androids were enemies of humanity. And the other one reminded me that he had just risked his life to save mine, and how could I doubt him? We stared at each other for a long time until Guerra broke the silence.
I am an android.
Like androids are robots that resemble humans, and cyborgs are humans that have become technolized. So yeah, because like sometimes people say like androids and cyborgs like splitting hairs, but yeah, there's a difference.
Sorry. I am an android.
But I'm not like the others. I'm from the third faction, the Revolutionary Army. The third faction, the Revolutionary Army. It just hit me that the androids attacked us with real bullets earlier, and it seemed he wasn't here with them after all. But why did you pretend to be human and get close to me? What do you want? Come with me and I'll tell you everything. Struggling with his injuries, Guerra stood up from the ruins, which for a moment melted my heart. Rest a little longer. Even androids can feel pain, I know that much. Why the hell did the android program for... Why did he program himself with pain receptor? Whatever. It's okay, I'm much better now. And then in the bone, his fake tough guy expression, and he was clearly trying to push through the pain. I silently followed him to the ruins, and on the other side of the ruin was a hidden room securely locked. And Guerra went to unlock the door and then left me. Open the door and you know the truth. Is this a trap? Not turning back now, I trust him, and thinking back, he would always give me a sense of familiarity. The feeling was somewhat warm and sometimes infuriating, and occasionally he even made me feel aggrieved. But amid the swelling emotion, there was no hatred. We saw seriously how to open the door. The room was empty but well preserved, with a curious dish containing an android in the center. From that distance, I could tell it was a female body, but as I approached, my brain froze in disbelief. This is me. The android in the cultivation dish looked exactly like me. In the meantime, a sharp pain pierced my heart as if some connection had been forcefully activated. In reaching out in my hands, I pulled my palms against the android's tough glass. A surge of memories engulfed me to the glass barrier. Years ago, many androids with consciousness and emotions lost. Many androids awaken with consciousness and emotion just like those of humans. This part, the android equality action. One of the leaders was Kevin, a promising young android engineer at the time. His charismatic speeches quickly spread his ideas of equality throughout the city. However, he wasn't alone in his action, and there was someone else beside him. Together, they fought through. They have been through thick and thin. This is Artsy Sister, my partner. Artsy Sister is an android and I am human, but nothing could stop us from pursuing our shared ideal. So I'm a robot now, hilarious. Guerra mentioned this in many interviews, and a lot of journalists describe the two of us as the embodiment of the action itself. The equality action soon yielded fruits, and Guerra believed that the future he and Artsy Sister envisioned was about to come. But little did he know that as androids gain human emotion, they also inherited their flaws. Many androids were not satisfied and greedy more for more. They started the android war and massacred humans. So they went like Skynet on like all of the humans. Tudum. Even Guerra and Artsy Sister were under death list, and in one of their attacks, Guerra nearly lost his life. And the one who proposed replacing his body with an android one was me. It was me who turned you into an android. And I looked up and stared at Guerra with a dawning realization as my lost memories gradually returned. That day he kept bleeding, and I was so afraid he was leaving me for good. So I snuck into the android's military treatment pod and stole his body. But my heart was also compromised, which was how they caught me, and my cognitive data was nearly destroyed. And thankfully we saw that coming, and Guerra had lost the deepest layers of my cognitive data in advance. But how can there be two of me? Plus, I am human. Though I recover some memories, what happened next remained a mystery to me. Your cognitive data couldn't be completely destroyed, but there was still a risk of damage, especially emotional Mario, and you always said it was the most precious thing. You might not know this, but before your cognitive data was destroyed, I made a copy. At this point, Gerald's expression turned slightly awkward, and maybe he felt that it was presumptuous to copy the data without my permission. Well, if you copy somebody's data or memory and then you copy-pasted it 100 times over, you're technically diluting a person's humanity or robolity or whatever. But whatever, or maybe just like Naruto, just potato. But back then I was on the brink of annihilation and he practically saved my life. But how could I blame him for that? Time was short and I couldn't break the law, so I only copied the emotional data on the surface and sent it to an orphanage on the east side. So I am actually an android? I glanced at my limbs and they looked so real, just like a normal human limbs. But in retrospect, I could endure pain better and rarely felt tired. To help you blending better into the human world, I made some adjustments. I was worried that you realize you're different from others, but unexpectedly, I got caught first. Who knew you'd be so reluctant to use new technology on yourself? No, I just didn't want to throw away this body. Over the years, this has been the only thing you had left me with. And I could feel my cheeks burning with murder. Darn it, aren't I an android? And this feels too real. And the boundaries between androids and humans was not as clear as we imagined. Well, I guess if the androids have ever had gotten as advanced into replicant level, then yeah. Because I was the joke of the replicants that they could some of them, that one was able to reproduce with a human or all of that. Produce babies. And then even in Cash, it has a reference to the Blade Runner nonsense. Gerald held my hand and the familiar ones reminded me of the old days. I'll be right next to you no matter what. And let's keep fighting for the rights of both androids and humans. But these lunatics stole the android cores of murder a bunch of androids to steal their cores in order to feed orphans. It seems a little, whatever, moving along. Maybe, as the journalist says, Gerald and Artsy Sister really are the embodiment of equality in action itself. Ugh. But I'm no longer human. That said, I cannot be an android either since I had lived as a human for so many years. Gerald chuckled at my mother and I smiled back at him. Gerald, let's build a new future, one for both androids and humans. And they live happily ever after in this little side story. Alright, this is a good place to leave it. I hope you found it amusing me reading you this Makeover little side story.